everyone, welcome to the new video. So today we'll understand one DevSecOps project architecture diagram and what all we can use and how to use. I'll try my best to implement this project and showcase to you. Without further ado, let's understand the architecture diagram, the tools that we are going to use, and at what stage what tool we are going to use. So without further ado, let's start. So first of all, this is the architecture overview that our code and all will be in GitHub. So whenever the developer will push the code, it should trigger the pipeline and all. So our infrastructure will be like this, where our public subnet, our VPC will be created. Then the public subnet and the private subnet, two private subnet. In the public segment, we will have NAT gateway and ELB. In the private subnet, we will have ECS service, because here we can use ECS service or Fargate, or we can use, ECS service with Fargate. Okay, we can use ECS service with EC2 also. There are two options. And then the images will be pulled by Amazon ECR. AWS Secrets Manager will be used for keeping the secrets, CloudWatch for monitoring, Inspector for checking any vulnerability issues, or Amazon S3 for storing the files and images or anything, objects. Amazon RDS, in again this will be all the database part will be in Amazon, like another subnet, the data part RDS, and Elastic Cache for Redis we will use. So basically this will be the infrastructure, and the pipeline will have these stages: checkout code, build and test, Docker build, security scan, push to ECR, deploy to ECS, and then notify. So CI/CD pipeline will be using Jenkins. We will be using Jenkins. So first of all, the CI/CD pipeline flow will be that once the in GitHub a code commit is done, a webhook trigger will be, we will apply, so that it triggers the pipeline then, and the stages like build and test, Docker build, scanning, and then pushing it to ECR is done. Once the image is pushed, it should deploy to ECS, and then after the successful deployment, it should notify like whether the deployment is successful or it has failed. It should notify. So we'll use infrastructure as code. Like we can use for infrastructure, we can use Terraform, like module VPC, where we will give source, CIDR, public subnet, and the private subnet that we want, and the easies. The Docker multi-stage build will be used. We will be using multi-stage. One will be the build stage, where we're building the code, and then in the runtime stage we are using the build code and we are running our main script. Then the IAM and security best practices are that use IAM roles for EC2 or ECS, no access key, principle of least privilege, resource-based policies, enable MFA, order with CloudTrade, encrypt data in transit and at rest. Monitoring like CloudWatch matrices, so we can have monitoring enabled for CPU, like matrices, CPU, memory, disk, network, ECS service health, errors, 5xx errors like 501, 502, or 500, bad gateway, latency, set alarms, and get notified. So this is for monitoring and alerting. Vulnerability is the ECR is scanned by AWS Inspector for any issues or for any vulnerabilities, and then we can highlight P1 and P2 according to vulnerabilities, high critical findings. This will be the Jenkins pipeline that we can create. We can use either scripted way or declarative way. Agent any, we check out, build and Docker build. So this is the Jenkins pipeline that will get created. The deployment strategy can be blue green strategy, where first on one environment, the v1 version is running, on the second environment v2 version is running. We'll just, so blue green environment is just the label, Once we are tested that this green environment testing is done, because this is a new environment, new version, we'll just shift the traffic. Now suppose if v3 version is coming, so green will be green, and like green will be on v2, and again we'll upgrade the blue environment directly to v3, and now we need to switch the traffic from green to blue. So it's always like blue and green are the labels, and we are playing with labels. So this is a demo walkthrough. Developer pushes code, webhook trigger, build image, push, ECS blue, traffic shifted to green application. So that's all for today's video. I hope it's helpful. Please let me know your views in the comment section. Till then, take care. Bye.